I recently faced my own worst nightmare. The HOA president tried a master key on my door and had the audacity to tell me she was allowed in. And the reason? She said they needed to do a mad-up emergency mold inspection. Funny thing is, the only thing toxic that day was her face when she saw two cops on my couch. Let me start from the beginning. The day starts with a bang. Someone is sticking things to my front door. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. The sky is still that sleepy purple color. Gets right before the sun wakes up and ruins everything. I am not a 500 a.m. person. I am barely a 9 a.m. person. My name is Mark Adler, and my only goal before coffee is to not trip over my own feet. So when I hear that thud, that sticky papery sound, I assume it is a pizza menu or a flyer for a guy who cleans gutters. I roll over. My wife Sarah is still fast asleep. Good for her. I try to join her in dreamland, but then another thud hits the door next door, and another one after that. It sounds like a plague of very organized, very quiet woodpeckers. Fine, I am up. I swing my legs out of bed and pull on a pair of jeans. The floor is cold. Of course it is. I stumble out to the living room, squinting against the gloom. I peek through the little window in my door, and I see her, Karen Blake, the president of our homeowners association, our queen. She is dressed in a power walking outfit that costs more than my car. She has a clipboard in one hand and a stack of big red tags in the other. She slaps one on my neighbor Trent's door with a satisfied little smack.
Ow.
She looks like a witch casting. A very boring, very annoying curse on the entire neighborhood. She does not smile. She gives me a little nod like she is the general and I am just a foot soldier who should be grateful for her leadership. I open the door. The morning air is crisp. It smells like cut grass and lies. Karen, I say. My voice is growly. It needs coffee to work right. Bit early for arts and crafts, is not it? She points a perfectly manicured finger at the red tag she just stuck on my door. It is bright, angry red. In big black letters, it screams danger. Do not enter. Potential toxic mold hazard. Oh, good. A new thing to worry about. Just what I needed. I was getting tired of worrying about bills and whether I remembered to take the trash out. This is not a craft project, Mark, she says. Her voice is sweet, like honey mixed with tiny, sharp pieces of glass. This is a public health emergency. We have reason to believe there is a significant outbreak of Statu Chartarum throughout the community. She says the fancy mold name like she has been practicing it in the mirror. I stare at her. I have no idea what she just said. It sounds like a spell from a fantasy movie. I am pretty sure she just turned my house into a frog. English, Karen? I say, use small words. My brain is still booting up. She sighed a dramatic, long-suffering sound. Black mold, Mark. Toxic black mold. It is very dangerous. We have to act fast. Behind her, a white van with no markings pulls up to the curb. A couple of guys in matching vests that say Ever Pure Environmental, get out. They look less like scientists and more like guys who would try to sell you a speaker system from the back of their van. They carry metal briefcases and look very serious, too serious. It is 5 o'clock in the morning. The only people who should look that serious this early are surgeons or people who have run out of coffee. For your safety, Karen continues, her voice dropping to a whisper like she is sharing a huge secret. Entry is forbidden until Everpure can. Conduct a preliminary air quality assessment. An HOA builder key is for real fire or flood, never for inspections. Using it for inspections is illegal. They try anyway. I look at the red tag. I look at the goons in their vests. I look at Karen, who is practically vibrating with fake concern. My house is not a biohazard. The house is where I watch bad TV and eat cereal for dinner. It smells like laundry detergent and my wife's weird scented candles. It does not smell like doom. You are telling me I cannot go into my own house, I ask? I am not mad yet. I'm just confused. It is like waking up and finding out the sky is now plaid. It is for your own good, she says, patting my arm. The inspection team will be here at 8. They will do a quick test. Just a formality, really. Then we will know what we are dealing with. A formality, right? Nothing Karen Blake ever does is a formality. Every move she makes is part of a bigger game. A game where she makes the rules and everyone else loses. She wants something. It is never just about safety or following the rules. It is always about control. She wants to be in charge of my air, my walls, my wallet. I can feel it. That little alarm bell in my gut starts to ring. The one that goes off right before something stupid and expensive is about to happen. And what if I do not want your guys in my house? I ask. Her smile gets tight. The sweetness is gone. And now it is just the glass. Mark, this is not a choice. This is an emergency declaration under HOA bylaws, Section 9, Subsection C. We have the authority to ensure the structural and environmental integrity of the community for everyone's well-being. She says well-being like it is a threat. The van door slides shut. The goons stand there, arms crossed like two low-budget statues. Karen gives me one last look, a look that says, I am in charge here. Do not forget it. Then she turns in power, walks to the next house, red tags flapping in her hand. I stand there in my doorway, the cold concrete under my bare feet. The red tag feels like a slap in the face. It is not just a piece of paper, it is a claim. Is Karen Blake saying this? House is not mine. It is hers to control. It is a declaration of war. A very, very quiet war fought with clipboards and fake emergencies before the sun is even up. I look at the tag again. Potential toxic mold hazard. Yeah, right. The only thing toxic around here is the HOA president and her little inspection team. They are coming at 8. I have less than 3 hours to figure out how I'm going to handle this. But one thing is already crystal clear. There is no way in hell they are winning. Right on time, 8 o'clock sharp. The doorbell rings. It is the ever-pure crew. There are 2 of them. One is big with a neck like a tree trunk and a clipboard. The other one is small and fidgety, holding a black box with a tube sticking out of it. They have the same serious faces from this morning. It is like they are about to perform open-heart surgery, not check for dust bunnies. Sarah is standing behind me. She is a worrier. She heard toxic mold and immediately started looking up symptoms. On her phone, now she is convinced we are both dying. Just be nice, Mark, she whispers. Let them do their thing. Maybe it is real. I love my wife, but sometimes her trust in people is just adorable. I open the door. Gentlemen, I say with a smile that does not reach my eyes. Welcome to the scene of the crime. The big one, whose name tag says Gary, does not smile back. Right. This is a serious matter. We need to conduct an air quality test immediately. He pushes past me a little, trying to get into the house. I stand my ground. It is my house. You do not just walk in. Whoa there, Gary, hold your horses. First show me some identification. And I want to see your certification for mold testing. Steadilo-licensed. I know this because I spent the last 2 hours on the internet. I am now a 30i-nut expert on mold scams. It is amazing what you can learn when you are properly motivated by spite. Gary's eyes narrow. He was not expecting that. Probably expected me to just roll over and let him take over. He looks at his fidgety partner, who just shrugs. Gary pulls out a laminated card from his wallet. Looks like something he printed at home. The certification number has a smudge on it. Here he grunts. The little box the other guy is holding starts to whir. It sounds like a tiny vacuum cleaner. This is our ionic particle counter, fidgety guy says, his voice squeaking. It detects airborne particulate, including mold spores. Who waves the tube around in the air like a magic wand? The box beeps. A little red light flashes. Oh dear, he says, looking at Gary with wide, fake, scared eyes. The levels are very high. Very high. I almost laugh. They have been in my doorway. For 10 seconds, the air they are testing is the same air that is outside on the street. It is a joke, a bad one. Wow, I say, my voice dripping with sarcasm. That was fast. You guys are amazing. Do you do birthday parties? Gary ignores me. He is all business, sir. Based on this initial reading, we need to place a test plate. It is a petri dish that collects a sample. We send it to our lab. We get the results in 24 hours. But I can tell you right now, this is not good. He is trying to sound like a doctor giving a bad diagnosis. He is a terrible actor. He holds up the clipboard. It has a form on it. At the bottom, there's a big number with a dollar sign in front of it. $5,000. This is the estimate for the minimum remediation, Gary says. That includes scrubbing, surface sterilization, and a follow-up test. We need your signature to begin. Work. We have a crew on standby. We can start this afternoon. He is pushing hard. He wants me scared. Wants me to sign the paper without thinking. He wants my money. That is all this is about. It has nothing to do with mold. It has nothing to do with safety. It is a shake-a-down, a legal one wrapped up in HOA rules and scary-sounding science words. $5,000, I say, letting out a low whistle. For that much money, I expect you to be not. Just clean the mold, but also do my dishes and walk my dog for a year. And I do not even have a dog. Sarah puts a hand on my arm. Mark, what if it is real? What if we are breathing this stuff in? The fear in her voice is exactly what they are. Counting on. They prey on people like Sarah. Good people who worry about their health and their family. Me. I am stubborn. I do not like being pushed, and I really do not like being lied to. Let me get this straight, I say, looking right at Gary. You wave a little toy vacuum cleaner in my doorway for 5 seconds, it beeps, and now you want $5,000? Is that how this works? Gary's face gets red. Sir, I am a certified professional. This is serious health risk. Then show me the lab results, I say. You cannot tell me I have a problem until you prove it. Put your little Petri dish down. Leave it for 48 hours like the state guidelines say. Send it to a real independent lab. When you get those results back, we can talk. Until then, you are not scrubbing, sterilizing, or touching anything in my house. Now, get off my porch. The two of them look at each other. This is not how the script is supposed to go. The homeowner is supposed to be scared. The homeowner is supposed to sign the form. The homeowner is not supposed to quote state guidelines. Gary tries one more time. Mr. Adler, Karen Blake authorized us to take all necessary steps. If you refuse, the HOA can find you for non-compliance, and we will not be responsible for any health issues that arise. It is another threat wrapped in fake legal language. They are trying to corner me. Great, I say with a big fake smile. I accept. All responsibility for the health of my own house. Now, like I said, get off my porch. I stare at Gary. I do not blink. Okay. Can see the wheels turning in his head. He is trying to decide if I am bluffing. He's trying to figure out if it is worth the fight. After a long silent moment, he gives up. He snatches the clipboard back. Fine, he spits. But we will be back. And when the lab results show what I know they will, show the price will be higher. It will be an emergency job. Then he and Fidgety Guy turn and stomp back to their van. Leave a single Petri dish on my doorstep, sealed in a plastic bag. I shut the door. Sarah looks at me, her eyes wide. What did you do, Mark? You made them angry good, I say. You're crooks, Sarah. This whole thing is a scam, but how do you know? She asks. The red tags, the pushy salesman, the instant diagnosis. It is a classic scare tactic, I tell her. They scare you into signing something you do not need. And our dear leader Karen Blake is right in the middle of it. I pick up the Petri dish they left. It looks harmless enough, just a clear dish with some jelly-like stuff inside, but I know it is the key. They expect it to be full of scary black mold when they come back. They are very, very confident about that. Too confident. Okay, and that is when I get an idea. A simple, stubborn, and probably stupid idea. They want to play games. Fine. 2 can play at this game. And my game does not involve magic boxes or fake estimates. My game involves proof. The plan is simple. So simple a kid could come up with it. That is probably why it is going to work. Crooks like Gary and Karen, they think they are smart, but they expect complicated resistance.
Oh, yes.
They expect lawyers and angry phone calls. They do not expect a guy with a roll of tape and some food coloring. After the Everplowns leave, I go to the store. Not a hardware store, a craft store. I feel completely out of place. Everything is pink and smells like potpourri. Gah, I walk past aisles of glitter and yarn. I am on a mission. I buy 3 things. First, a pack of tiny spy cameras. They are the size of a sugar cube. The guy at the checkout counter gives me a weird look. I just smile and say, "Bird watching?" I do not think he buys it. Second, I buy a roll of the thinnest, clearest tape I can find, the kind people use for wrapping gifts. It is almost invisible. Third, I buy a small bottle of blue food coloring, the super concentrated kind. My shopping basket looks like I am planning the world's worst, smallest birthday party. Sarah's watching me when I get home. I lay my supplies out on the kitchen table. "Okay," she says, crossing her arms. "What is all this? You making a model airplane? Or starting a detective agency?" "Detective agency," I say, holding up one of the tiny cameras. "I'm going to prove this is a scam once and for all." She sighed. What is her? Oh boy, here we go. Sigh. I know it well. Or can we not just hire a different pony to do a test? A reel? 1. And if it is clean, we show the results to the HOA. "No," I say, shaking my head. "That is not good enough. That proves my house is clean. I want to prove they are liars. I want to catch them in the act. She can see I am not going to back down." That stubborn streak she usually finds annoying is now in full gear. "Okay, Sherlock Holmes," she says. "What is the plan?" I hold up the tape. Step 1. They think the mold is coming from the vents, right? That is what they always say. Itis in your HVAC system. I go over to the main air return vent in the living room. It is a big white metal grate near the floor. I take a tiny piece of the clear tape, no bigger than my fingernail. I carefully stick it across the seam where the vent cover meets the wall. It is so small and so clear, you would never see it unless you were looking for it. "This is my seal," I explain. "If someone opens this vent, that seal will break. It is my tripwire." Next, I open the vent cover. Inside it is just a dark, dusty metal tunnel. Take a single piece of paper towel and put it on the bottom of the duct right behind the grate. Then, I take out the blue food coloring. "And this," I say, holding up the little bottle, "is the smoking gun." I put one single tiny drop of the blue dye onto the center of the paper towel. It is a brilliant dark blue dot. I carefully put the grate back on, making sure my little tape seal is perfectly in place. "Here is what is going to happen," I tell Sarah. "They'll pull the old builder key from the HOA lockbox. It's meant for real emergencies, not this. They will come in when they think we are not home. We'll open this vent to plant their sample or spray some fake mold spores. When they do, they will break my tape seal. Then they will use a little sprayer to puff their magic mold dust into the vent. That little puff of air will be enough to blow that blue food coloring right onto the back of the white grate. It will leave a mark, a tiny blue stain, a stain that should not be there. Finally, the cameras. Placion on the bookshelf pointed. Right at the vent, I hide another one in a fake plant aimed at the front door. The third one goes on top of the kitchen cabinets, giving a wide view of the whole room. They are motion activated. It will send an alert to my phone the second. Someone walks in. Sarah watches me, a little smile playing on her lips. "You've really thought this out," she says. "I am a simple man," I tell her, "but I do not like being cheated." The last piece of my plan is my pocket log. It is a cheap little notebook from the grocery store. In it, I write down everything. The date and time Karen put the tag on the door. The names on the Everpure guys' vests. The exact time they showed up and left. I write down my purchases from the craft store. I take a picture of the unbroken tape seal on the vent. I take a picture of the clean white grate. Documentation. It feels silly, but I have a feeling it is going to be important. We wait for 2 days. Nothing happens. The red tag is still on our door. My neighbor Trent, a nice guy, but not the sharpest. Tool in the shed. Paid the $5,000. I saw the Everpure van at his house all afternoon making a lot of noise. He told me later they showed him a picture of a Petri dish that was completely black. "Scary stuff, Mark," he said, shaking his head. "Glad they caught it." I did not have the heart to tell him. He probably just paid $5,000 for a couple of guys to run a vacuum cleaner for an hour. Then on the third morning I get call. It is from the HOA office. A sweet-sounding lady tells me there is an urgent issue with the waterman, and all residents need to evacuate for a few hours. This is it? This is the excuse they need to get everyone out of their homes so their goons can do their dirty work. Okay, I say into the phone. We'll be out of there in 10 minutes. I hang up and look at Sarah. It is showtime. We'll get in the car and drive away. We go right past the Everpure van parked just around the corner waiting. They think I am gone. They think I am just another sheep like Trent, but I am not leaving. I just park my car down the street where they cannot see me. I pull out my phone, open up the camera app, and I watch and I wait. They have no idea what they are walking into. Think they are walking into an empty house. They are wrong. They are walking into my trap. I text them the side gate code, the alarm code, and give consent. 8:20 a.m., Inspector Singh and Officer Garcia slip in my back door with my okay. Coffee on the table, body cams on, we wait. I am watching. My phone like it is the most exciting movie in the world. The screen is split into 3 little boxes showing the feed from my tiny cameras. The living room, the front door, the kitchen, it is all quiet. The house looks empty, just like I wanted them to think. Sarah is next to me in the car, chewing on her thumbnail. Are you sure about this, Mark? She asks for the 10th time. What if they see the cameras? They will not, I say, trying to sound more confident than I feel. Are looking for mold, not for a tiny black dot on a bookshelf. Wait, 10 minutes feels like an hour. My heart is thumping. This is either going to be a genius move or a really dumb one. There's no in between then. I see it, the camera pointed. At the front door flickers. A key turns in the lock. The door swings open. In walk Gary and his little sidekick Fidgety Guy. They are not wearing their official-looking vests anymore. Now they just look like 2 regular guys breaking into a house, which I guess is exactly what they are doing. Gary closes the door behind them. He looks around, a smug little smile on his face. Okay, he says. His voice comes through my phone speaker. Tiny and clear. Let us get this done. Adler was a real pain. Make sure this one comes back black as night. Fidgety Guy nods. He is carrying a small duffel bag. He sets it on the floor and pulls out 2 things. A small spray bottle like the kind you use for plants and a new Petri dish in a sealed plastic bag. My hands are sweating. This is it. The proof. I hit the record button on my phone screen. I am saving every second of this. Garcia texts from my couch. Let them finish. Full act on camera equals clean chain of custody. Gary walks over to the main air return vent, the one I prepped. He kneels down. The camera on the bookshelf has a perfect view. I can see the back of his big dumb head. He pulls a small screwdriver from his pocket and starts to undo the screws on the vent cover. He is clumsy. He has no idea about the tiny piece of tape. He just pried the cover off. I know right at that moment, my little tape seal is broken. Phase 1 of my plan is a success. Fidgety Guy comes over. He hands the new Petri dish to Gary. Gary unseals it and places it carefully inside the vent duct. Okay, give it a good spray, Gary says. Make sure it gets on the plate. Fidgety Guy takes the spray bottle. He leans in close to the open vent, points the nozzle into the darkness of the ductwork, and then he squeezes the trigger. A fine gray mist shoots out of the nozzle, hangs in the air for a second before, settling. The mist is so fine, it is almost invisible, but I know what it is doing. That little puff of air, that tiny man-made breeze, is hitting the piece of paper, towel I hid inside. It is hitting that single, tiny, dark blue drop of food coloring. I zoom in the camera feed as much as I can. Gary puts the white metal grate back onto the wall, screws it in place. He and Fidgety Guy stand up, dusting off their hands. They look pleased with themselves. The whole thing took less than 5 minutes. They have planted their fake evidence. Now they just have to wait for the mold to grow, and then they can come back and collect their $5,000. Gary turns to leave. But as he walks past the vent, he stops. He squints. He leans down closer to the grate. What the hell is that? He says. My heart leaps into my throat. He saw it. Fidgety Guy comes over. What is what? Look, Gary says, pointing on the grate. That blue spot on my phone screen, I can see it clear as day. A tiny, faint, Bhutan, mistakable smudge of blue on the white metal. It looks like a tiny speck of ink. My blue dye. It worked. The mist was just enough to splash it onto the back of the grate. Fidgety guy stares at it. Do not know, he says, his voice squeaking even more than usual. What is it, paint? It was not there before. Gary growls. He is starting to panic. This is not part of their plan. Blue spots are not part of the script. He tries to rub it with his thumb, but it is on the inside of the grate. Cannot reach it. Forget it, he says, standing up fast. Us just go. It is probably nothing. They are spooked. They grab their bag and head for the door. They think they're home free. They think the weird blue spot is just a minor problem. They have no idea their problems are just beginning. Gary reaches for the handle. The front lock turns again. A new key. The door opens. Karen Blake steps in with a shiny key and her famous clipboard. She freezes. 2 officers sit on my couch, calm as Sunday. The key dangles in the lock. Her clipboard slips. Paper snow hits my floor. Officer Garcia. Morning, ma'am. Interior entry needs consent or a warrant. HOA rules don't change that. Kieran, this is an emergency inspection. Inspector Singh. Posting fake health tags isn't an emergency, it's a crime. Today is statements and evidence, Garcia says. Charges follow. A siren chirps outside. Backup rolls. To the curb. The patrol officers take the lawn to secure the street. I walk up my path like a director onto his set. Kieran stands in a mute doorway, stuck between pride and panic. Kieran, Side Inspector Singh, and Officer Garcia are on my couch. Coffee cups, body cams, steady eyes. Outside, backup units idle at the curb. Their doors say police in big block letters. Inside, the first pair were dark navy with police patches and body cams. Outside, the polos say police in bright yellow. Mr. Adler, Inspector Singh says with a nod, looks like your tip was a good one. I nod back. They just finished their work. I walk up to my own front door. Gary and Fidgety Guy are staring at the inspector and the cop like they have just seen ghosts. Their faces are pale. The smug confidence is completely gone. Now they just look like 2 kids caught with their hands in the cookie jar. What is going on here? Gary stammers. We are here on an official work order from the HOA. Officer Garcia just raises an eyebrow. Is that why you came in an unmarked van and used a builder key meant for fire or flood, then waited down the street for the homeowners to leave? He asks, his voice low and calm. Gary does not have an answer for that. Karen and I step deeper inside. The inside pair wear dark navy uniforms with big police patches and body cams. It's the backup outside wear navy polos with bright yellow police across the chest. The air is thick with tension. It is my house, but it feels like a crime scene, which I suppose it is. Inspector Singh walks straight over to the air return vent. She has gloves on. She kneels down just like Gary did. She looks at the grate. Ah, she says, a small, satisfied smile on her face. There it is. She points to the tiny blue smudge. That would be the dye you mentioned, Mr. Adler. That is it. I say, it was not there this morning. I have pictures. She pulls out an evidence. Kit, it is very official. She has little plastic bags and labels. She carefully removes the vent cover. She handles it like it is a precious artifact. She places it into a large evidence bag and seals it. Vent grate with unknown blue substance collected at 10:14 a.m., she says, writing on Thelabel. Then she reaches into the vent itself. She pulls out the Petri dish Gary planted. 1 Petri dish sealed, it goes into another bag. She pulls out the piece of paper towel with the blue spot on it. Officer Garcia bags the gray spray bottle from their duffel and logs the time. He signs his evidence witness. Singh notes the chain of custody ID. 1 paper towel with blue dye that goes into a bag. 2. Everything is being documented. Everything is being done by the book. It's not just me against them anymore. This is the city against them. Gary is starting to sweat. He's looking at the door like he's thinking about making a run for it. Officer Garcia sees it too. He takes a step, blocking the exit. I would not do that if I were you, he says, his voice still calm, but with a hard edge to it now. Right now you were just answering a few questions. If you run, it becomes something else entirely. Fidgety guy looks like he is about to cry. He keeps wringing his hands and looking at Gary like he is hoping his boss has a magical plan to get them out of this. Gary has nothing. His whole scam depended on people being scared and ignorant. He has no idea what to do when faced with cops and evidence bags. Inspector Singh stands up. She looks at the two of them. "I am going to ask you a question," she says, her voice cold as ice. "That mist you sprayed in the vent, what was in it?" Gary stammers. It is a standard atmospheric compound for testing." "Really?" Singh asks. "Because we are going to test it? We are going to test everything? The grate, the dish, the air in this room? And if we find that you have intentionally introduced a contaminant into this home, that is a very serious crime. It's called fraud. It is also a public health violation. The fines are steep, and the jail time is not pleasant." The word jail hangs in the air. It seems to suck all the oxygen out of the room. Fidgety guy makes a little squeaking sound and sits down hard on the floor. He looks like he's going to be sick. Gary just stares, his mouth hanging open. The whole thing is beautiful. It is better than any movie I have ever seen. My silly little plan with tape and food coloring actually worked. It worked perfectly. I caught them red-handed, or more accurately, blue-handed. Officer Garcia pulls out a notebook. "All right," he says, looking at Gary and his partner on the floor. "I'm going to need to see your identification and the work order from the HOA. And I'm going to need you to tell me exactly who sent you here and why." Gary looks defeated. The fight is gone. The bully has been cornered, and he has no more tricks up his sleeve. He slowly reaches for his wallet. Inspector Singh turns to me. "Mr. Adler," she says, "this was excellent work. The physical evidence is a great start." She holds up the bagged vent. "Great. But to really make this stick, we need to connect them to the person who hired them. We need to see the paper trail. The hook is set. Now it is time to reel them in." The living room is turned into a makeshift command center. Officer Garcia has Gary and Fidgety Guy sitting on my couch. They are not in handcuffs, but they are not going anywhere. Garcia is asking them questions in a low, patient voice. He is letting them dig their own holes. Fidgety Guy, whose name is apparently Kevin, is spilling everything. He is talking so fast, he is tripping over his words. He is blaming Gary. He is blaming the company. He is trying to make a deal before he has even been charged with a crime. Gary's just sitting there, silent, staring at the floor. He knows he is cooked. Meanwhile, Inspector Singh and I are at my dining room table. She has my laptop open. "Okay, Mr. Adler," she says. "You mentioned emails from your HOA president, Karen Blake. I have got a whole folder full of them. I say I pull them up. There are dozens. The first one sent a week ago is a community health alert. It is full of vague warnings about potential airborne irritants and seasonal moisture. It is clearly designed to plant the seed of fear. Then a few days later, another one. This one is more direct. It mentions a confirmed report of black mold in a nearby neighborhood and recommends a proactive inspection. Then comes the big one, the email from 2 nights ago. The subject line is emergency action required. This is the email where Karen declares a public health emergency. She cites the HOA bylaws, the same one she quoted to me on my porch. And at the bottom of the email, there is a helpful recommendation for your convenience and safety. It reads, "The board has contracted with Everpure Environmental, a Stetescertified specialist to conduct immediate mandatory testing for all residents." Stetescertified, Singh says with a snort. "I will be checking on that." She pulls out a thumb drive and plugs it into my laptop. "With your consent, we'll copy any emails about this." She says police can seek a warrant for HOA servers if needed. Let us save all of these. We copy the entire email chain. Every smug, threatening word from Karen Blake, every fake warning. It is a beautiful paper trail. While we are doing that, Officer Garcia gets a call on his radio. He listens for a moment, says, "Copy that," and hangs up. There's a little smile on his face. "Well, that is interesting." He says, "My partner just ran the plates on the Everpure van. It is registered to a man named Dennis Cole. Turns out Mr. Nicole has a brother-in-law on the HOA board here." Inspector Singh and I look at each other. Let me guess, I say. His name's not Karen Blake. Nope. Garcia says his name is Bill Reading. This is the HOA treasurer. The plot thickens. This is not just Karen's little scheme. The treasurer is in on it. He is the one who cuts the checks. He is the one who pays Everpure. And his brother-in-law owns the company. It is a cozy little family business. Garcia then walks over to the Everpure guys on the couch. He has their work folder. It is full of invoices. He starts reading the names out loud. Gable Henderson, Trent Phillips. He looks over at me. Your neighbor Trent. That is him. Say he paid them $5,000 yesterday. Garcia shakes his head. According to this, they have hit 8 houses in the last 2 days. All for the same amount, $5,000. That is $40,000. Gentlemen, not a bad haul for a couple of days' work. Gary flinches. Kevin just looks miserable. We spend the next hour copying everything. We copy the invoices. We take pictures of the work orders. Inspector Singh has me write a detailed statement explaining everything from the red tag to the blue dye. I write it all down in my little pocket log, and I sign the official policy statement. Every piece of paper, every digital file is another nail in their coffin. They came into my house to plant fake evidence. Now they are drowning in real evidence. The irony is delicious. Finally, Singh and Garcia have everything they need. The evidence bags are all lined up by the door. What happens now? I ask them. Now Singh says the lab gets to work. We will confirm what is in that spray and on that Petri dish. Once we have that, the district attorney will have a very strong case for fraud and conspiracy. And in the meantime, Garcia adds, we are going to have a little chat with Mr. Dennis Cole of Everpure and Mr. Bill Reading, the HOA treasurer. He looks at Gary and Kevin. You two are coming with us. We need your official statements. They lead the 2 scammers out of my house. As they are leaving, Gary turns and gives me a look. It is a look of pure hatred. If looks could kill, I would. Be a pile of ash on my own doorstep, but I am not scared. I just give him a little wave. Have fun, guys, I say. Send me a postcard. They're gone. Sarah comes over and gives me a huge hug. You did it, she says, her voice full of relief. You actually did it? We did it, I correct her. It is not over yet. Karen is still out there. Inspector Singh gives me her card. There is one more thing you can do, Mr. Adler, she says. There is an HOA meeting tomorrow night. Is not there? I nod. Be there, she says, and tell your neighbors to be there. Tell them to bring their bills from Everpure. A slow smile spreads across my face. I see what Shay's planning. Hey, the evidence is one thing. Public pressure is another. Karen Blake loves to rule over her little kingdom from the front of a meeting. Room tomorrow night, that meeting room, is going to be her execution chamber. She has no idea what is coming. She still thinks she is in control. But the tide is turning, and it is about to become a tidal wave. The clubhouse is packed, standing, room only, word spread. Neighbors clutch Everpure bills like losing tickets. Sarah and I take the back. Up front, Karen in white blazer, calm mask, Bill Reading, sweaty and gray. Sarah and I find a couple of seats in the back. I can feel the energy in the room. It is like a bottle of soda that has been shaken up. The cap is about to fly off. Up at the front table sit the board members. Karen is in the center, of course. She is wearing a crisp white blazer, looking calm and in charge. To her right is Bill, Reading, the treasurer. He does not look calm. He looks like he is about to throw up. He is sweating and constantly wiping his shawns on his pants. He knows the police talked to his brother-in-law. He knows the walls are closing in. Karen bangs the gavel. All right, everyone, let us settle down. Welcome to the monthly meeting of the Lakeview Meadows Homeowners Association. She launches into her usual speech. She talks about lawn maintenance. She talks about the color of someone's mailbox. She is trying to pretend this is just a normal meeting. She is ignoring the giant $5,000 elephant in the room, but the residents are not having it. After about 5 minutes of her rambling, Mrs. Gable stands up. She is a sweet old lady who bakes cookies for the whole block, but tonight she looks furious. Karen, I do not want to hear about mailboxes, she says, her voice trembling with anger. I want to hear about this. She holds up her invoice from Everpure. $5,000. I am retired. I live on a fixed income. You told me my house was a death trap. Suddenly everyone is talking at once. People are standing up, waving their own bills in the air. The room erupts. It is chaos. Wait. Karen is banging her gavel, shouting for order. But no one is listening. Her calm, controlled world is falling apart right in front of her. I stand up. I do not shout. I just wait. Eventually, a few people see me standing and quiet down. Then, a few more. Soon, the whole room is looking at me. Even Karen stops banging her gavel. Karen, I say, my voice carrying across the room. We all got your emails. We all got your red tags. You told us there was sans emergency. You told us we had to use your certified specialist, Everpure Environmental. I let that hang in the air for a second. Well, I have some news for everyone. Everpure is not just some random company. It is owned by a man named Dennis Cole, and Dennis Cole is the brother-in-law of our very own HOA treasurer, Bill Reading. A collective gasp goes through the room. Every single eye swivels from me to Bill Reading. Bill looks like a cornered animal. He sinks down in his chair, trying to becko main visible. It is not working. Karen Blake's face is a mask of fury. She glares at me. That is a baseless accusation, Mark, she screeches. This was about safety. Was it? I shoot back. Was it about safety? When your crew came into my house without my permission? Was it about safety when they tried to plant a fake mold sample in my air vents? The room goes dead silent. Could hear a pin drop. No one knew that part. I have their full attention now. Karen's face goes pale. She knows I've got her. That is a lie, she shouts. You have no proof. And that is my cue. Oh, I have proof, I say calmly. I have video, and so do the police. And so does the city health inspector. The same health inspector who has the sample your crew planted in my house? It's the one they are testing at the city lab right now. This is too much for Bill Reading. Breaks. He completely and utterly falls apart. Stands up so fast his chair. Falls over backward with a loud crash. He is shaking and there are tears in his eyes. I did not want to do it. He wails, pointing a trembling finger at Karen. She made me. She planned the whole thing. Karen looks at him with pure venom. Shut up, Bill, you idiot. Shut your mouth. But Bill cannot shut up. The dam has broken. The words are flooding out. She came to me a month ago. She said she found a way to make some easy money for the HOA reserve fund. She said the Everpure guys would give her a kickback for every job, $1,000 a house. She told me to approve all the payments, no questions. Asked, he fumbles with his phone. His hands are shaking so badly he can barely hold it. I have the texts. She texted me everything. He taps frantically at the screen. A second later, my phone buzzes. And Sarah's phone buzzes, and Trent's phone buzzes, all around the room. Phones start buzzing. He has sent the entire text message thread to a community email list. Bill is the treasurer. He still had list access. On my screen, I can see it plain as day. Messages from Karen. Everpure is a go. Started next week. Make sure you process their invoice someday. And the worst one? Just tell people their houses are poison. They will pay anything. It is like printing money. The room is silent for a moment as everyone reads the messages, and a low rumble of anger starts to build. It grows and grows until it is a full-blown roar. People are on their feet shouting. They are shouting at Karen. They are calling her a thief, a liar, a criminal. She stands there frozen, the color drained from her face. Her perfect little kingdom has crumbled. Her own treasurer, her partner in crime, has turned on her. For the first time since this whole thing started, Karen Blake, the untouchable queen of the HOA, looks truly and utterly defeated. The meeting has blown up in her face, and the fallout is just beginning. The next 2 days are strangely quiet. The red tags disappear from people's doors. The Everpure van is nowhere to be seen. It is like the whole neighborhood is holding its breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop. I feel a weird mix of relief and anxiety. We expose Karen at the meeting. We have the texts. I have Bill Reading's confession. It feels like a victory, but I know it is not over until the official results come in. The whole case hinges on what the city lab finds. My little blue dye trap was clever, but it is not scientific proof of fraud. We need the lab to connect the dots. On Wednesday afternoon, my phone rings. It is an unknown number. I hesitate, then answer.
Adler.
I say, Mr. Adler. This is Paula Singh from the health department. My stomach does a little flip. This is it. I have the preliminary lab. Report in front of me, she says, her voice calm and professional. Final confirmation takes longer, but this is enough for charges. I thought you would want to know. I am all ears, I say, trying to keep my own voice steady. First, she says, the sample from the Petri dish your friends from Everpure left in your vent. The lab cultured it. It is, as suspected, a very aggressive strain of Stachybotrys. My heart sinks a little. So, there was mold. Yes, she says, and I can almost hear her smiling through the phone. There was a massive amount of mold, a suspiciously massive amount, the kind of perfect uniform growth you almost never see in a residential sample. It grew too fast, too perfectly. What does that mean? I ask. It means it looks like a textbook sample, the kind you would grow in a laboratory. So we tested the Petri dish itself. The medium, the jelly-like substance in the bottom of the dish. There is a pause. I can hear her flipping a page. The dishes were prenylate. I do not know what that means. English inspector, I say, just like I said to Karen. The mold was already in the dish, Mr. Adler. They brought it with them. The spores were embedded in the nutrient gel before they ever set foot in your house. All they needed was a little time. In a dark place, and it would grow into a big, scary black spot. It is definitive proof of fraud. They were planting evidence. I let out a breath I did not even know I was holding. Yes, I say, punching the air in my kitchen. I knew it. Sarah gives me a thumbs up from across the room. Gets better, Inspector Singh says. We analyzed the substance from the sprayer they used. It was a mix of water, a little dust, and a few common, harmless household mold spores. The kind you would find in any house. It was a prop. It was designed to look real, but the actual toxic mold was in the dish all along. So the whole scam is laid bare. The spiked dishes, the fake spray. It was all a magic trick, a cheap, dirty magic trick to scare people out of their money. Thank you, Inspector, I say. This is amazing news. Do not thank me yet, she says. Wait until you hear what Officer Garcia found. An hour later, Garcia calls me himself. Mark, he says, his voice excited. You are not going to believe this. After the last few days, I will believe anything I tell him. Property management gave us the pool lot footage on request, he says, the one that overlooks the parking lot. Yeah, we went through hours of video. 5 a.m. the morning this started, a white van pulls into the lot, the Everpure van. A few minutes later, Karen Blake's car pulls up next to it. I am on the edge of my seat. Go on, I say. Da-da-da-da-da-da. A man gets out of the van, Dennis Cole, the owner. He is holding a plain cardboard box. He walks over to Karen's car. She rolls down her window. He hands her the box. She hands him a white envelope. And then this is the beautiful part, Mark. She pops her trunk, takes out a different cardboard box, and hands it to him. He takes that box, puts it in his van, and they both drive away. The pieces all click into place. The swap, I whisper. That is the swap. That is the swap, Garcia confirms. The first box had to be the pre-spiked dirty Petri dishes. She took them. The second box, the one from her car, that had to be the clean, sterile dishes they were supposed to be using. She gave them to him to make it look like he was picking up supplies. But the real evidence, the rigged tests, she kept those with her. She probably handed them out to the crew personally right before they went knocking on doors. They have them on video. The conspiracy, the exchange, the kickback in the envelope. It is all there, recorded in grainy black and white from a camera aimed at a swimming pool. It is the final piece of the puzzle, piece that connects Karen Blake directly to the fraud. So what now, I ask, my voice buzzing with adrenaline. Garcia's voice turns serious. Now we have everything we need. The lab results from Singh, the treasurer's confession, the text messages, and now the video. The DA signed off on it 10 minutes ago. There is a pause on the other end of the line. I can hear the sound of a car engine starting. We are going to pay a visit to the Everpure office, Garcia says, and we are going to execute a search warrant. This is not just about your house anymore, Mark. This is about taking down the whole rotten operation. I can hear the determination in his voice. The trafe has been sprung. The evidence is in. Now it is time for the takedown. I do not get to see the raid happen, but Officer Garcia calls me later that night and walks me through it step by step. Knows I need to hear it. He knows this is the payoff for all the stress and the waiting. His description is so vivid I can picture it perfectly in my head. He tells me the Everpure Environmental Office is not much of an office. It is a sad little storefront tucked away in a dying strip mall between a laundromat and a nail salon. The windows are covered with dusty blinds. From the outside, you would not even know it was a business. Garcia says there were 4 of them. It's uniformed officers, him and a detective from the fraud division. They do not smash the door down. They just walk up, knock, and show the search warrant to the guy who opens it. The guy is Dennis Cole, the owner. Bill Reading's brother-in-law, the guy from the pool camera video. Garcia says Cole's face went completely white when I saw the police. He knew the game was up. They step inside. The place is a mess. It is basically one big room with a couple of cheap desks, overflowing ashtrays, and stacks of papers everywhere. It smells like stale coffee and desperation. Garcia says it was obvious this was not a legitimate scientific testing company. It was a boiler room. A command center for a scam. The 2 uniformed officers start by securing Cole and the only other employee in the office, a nervous-looking woman who was on the phone. Probably trying to scare another homeowner into a fake mold cleanup. Then Garcia and the detective get to work. They know exactly what they're looking for. They start with the file cabinets. In the very first drawer they open, they hit the jackpot. It is a stack of bright red tags. The exact same danger do not enter tags that Karen had plastered all over our neighborhood. There are hundreds of them fresh from the printer. Right next to them is a box of pre-printed invoices. They're all for $5,000, the company name and service subscription filled in. The customer name and date are left blank. They were ready to keep this scam going for a long, long time. But the real bombshell, Garcia tells me, is what they find in Dennis Cole's desk drawer. Tucked away under a pile of fast food menus, they find a small black ledger book, a cash book. They open it up. Inside, in neat columns, is a handwritten list. On the left side of the page is a list of addresses. My address is there. Trent's address is there. Mrs. Gable's address is there. Every house they targeted is listed. In the middle column is the amount paid, $5,000, and in the right-hand column there is another number, it's $1,000. And next to that $1,000 figure for every single entry are the same 2 initials, KBB Karen Blake. It is the kickback ledger, the smoking gun. It shows the entire criminal conspiracy in black and white. It confirms everything Bill Reading confessed at the meeting. It is irrefutable. Proof, Garcia says. The fraud detective just closed the book, looked at Dennis Cole and said, "You are going to need a very good lawyer." Cole did not say a word. He just sat down in his chair and put his head in his hands. While this is happening, another team of officers is paying a visit to someone else. Have a warrant for her too. An arrest warrant. They go to Karen Blake's house, the nicest house in the neighborhood, of course. The one with the perfectly manicured lawn she was always so proud of. Garcia tells me he heard it was a quiet arrest. No drama, no shouting. She answered the door. They showed her the warrant, and she just nodded. She knew it was coming. She must have known after the HOA meeting blew up that it was only a matter of time. The image Garcia paints for me is the one I will remember forever. Karen Blake, the queen of Lakeview Meadows, the woman who ruled our lives with an iron fist, and a clipboard being let out of her perfect house in handcuffs. Not in her power-walking outfit, not in her crisp white blazer, just a regular person stripped of all her fake authority. She does not look angry or smug anymore. She just looks small. The raid on the Everpure office and Karen's arrest are the final moves in the game. They have the physical evidence from my house. They have the financial records from the treasurer. They have the video evidence of the swap. Now they have the kickback ledger and the tools of the trade, the red tags and the blank invoices. The whole corrupt little empire has been brought crashing down. It started with a quiet little thud on me front door in the dark. A red tag, a challenge, and it ended with the satisfying final click of handcuffs. The bully has been caged. Now all that is left is to clean up the mess she made. The end is not as dramatic as the middle. There is no big courtroom showdown. There are no surprise witnesses. It is all very quiet, very legal, and very, very satisfying. Karen Blake, Dennis Cole, and Bill Reading all take plea deals. Their lawyers saw the mountain of evidence against them, the videos, the text messages, the ledger, and knew they did not stand a chance in a trial. They pled guilty to fraud and conspiracy. They do not get jail time, which is a bit of a letdown, but they get hit with massive fines, years of probation. And best of all, they are permanently banned from ever serving on any corporate or community board ever again. Karen Blake's reign is officially, legally, and permanently over. The HOA is in chaos for a little while, but it is a good kind of chaos. We call an emergency meeting, and this time the mood is completely different. It is not angry, it is determined. We vote Karen and Bill off the board. We elect a whole new group of people, normal people. People who just want to live in a nice, quiet neighborhood without being scammed. I get nominated for president. I laugh and tell them, no thank you. I did not do any of this because I wanted power. Did it because I wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to protect my home. My little corner of the world. Best part is the money. Under the terms of the plea deal, and with a whole lot of pressure from the district attorney's office. The HOA's directors and officers' insurance covers the claims. They have to cover the damages from the board's criminal activity. Every single person who paid Everpure gets a full $5,000 refund check in the mail. When Trent gets his, he comes over to my house holding the check like it is a winning lottery ticket. Mark, he says, a huge goofy grin on his face. I cannot believe it. I got my money back. He shakes his head. I was so sure the mold was real. We're right all along. Just glad it worked out, Trent, I say, clapping him on the shoulder. Seeing the relief on his and my other neighbors' faces is a better reward than anything else. We also pass a new set of rules for the HOA. We call it the Adler Amendment, which is both embarrassing and kind of cool. It's very simple. It says no HOA emergency entry without a written order from a city agency, fire, health, or a judge. Period. No more private contractors. No more vague threats. No more Madoop emergencies. It puts the power back where it belongs with the homeowners. Life settles, lawns cut, trash picked up. But we're different now. People talk.
Ow.
For each other, not just houses anymore. A community.